Jack lightly shrugged to pull his wrists free, saying defiantly, "I'm not a slave, Mark." Mark brushed his lips along Jack's jawbone ever so lightly, whispering in a deep tone, "I'll fix that." Jack tried to resist as Mark raised his wrist up higher, feeling Mark slip his wrist into a set of fuzzy handcuffs attached to the bedpost. Mark had never done this to him before. Usually their sex life was pretty standard. Jack groaned a little at the warmth of Mark's palms sliding down his ribs. He had to admit that without being able to see anything, every sensation felt so foreign. The bed creaked as Mark shifted, and all he could do was wait. His breath hitched as Mark smeared something cold against his collarbone and nipples. Jack twisted his wrist to grab the chains, preparing himself for what was to come next. Mark was careful not to touch any part of his body as he leaned over him. Mark only wanted his tongue to touch Jack's skin. Lapping up the green frosting he had lightly spread over Jack's collarbone, he heard Jack let out a hiss, watching Jack's muscles flex beneath him as Jack tried to resist. Mark had learned early on that Jack was very sensitive to light touches. They drove him crazy. When Mark cleared all of the frosting off his collarbone, he slid his tongue over him again, just to watch Jack bite his lip. Next, Mark exhaled a trail of hot breath from Jack's neck down to his nipple. A shudder rocked Jack's body, and Mark grinned, waiting for him to settle. When he did, Mark started in on sucking his frosted nipple. Jack's back arched, his toes crawling into the mattress as a sharp moan broke from his lips. Mark pulled away, waiting for Jack to settle down again before moving to the next nipple. Jack's legs jerked up off the mattress, closing in tightly on Mark's hips. Mark had to force Jack's legs back down against the mattress, saying casually, "That counts as touching, Jack." Slowly calming down, Jack shot back through gritted teeth, "Fucking hell, Mark." Mark sighed a little, shifting further down Jack's body. A little roughly, Mark yanked Jack's pants down his long legs. He would have to punish Jack, or he'll just keep testing his patience. Stripping the last of Jack's clothes, Mark cuffed Jack's ankles to the remaining bedposts, climbing off the bed. Mark took a toy from his wall and grabbed the lube from his cot. Quietly, Mark coated the toy as Jack mumbled out dryly, So your punishment is to leave me here naked?" Mark smirked, moving in for the bed as he answered, "No. I actually have to go upstairs to let Chica in and wait for our food to arrive. But before I go, I have something to give you." Mark slowly extended his lube-coated fingers between Jack's legs, playfully teasing Jack's ass with his index and middle finger. Jack's legs jerked against the restraint in surprise as he cried out, "Fuck, that's cold!" Mark tried to suppress a smile, pulling his fingers away and putting the toy into position. Carefully, Mark started to push the gel anal beads into his ass. The first few went in easy and were barely noticed, but the more they went in, Jack began to shift restlessly, groaning in slight pain. Mark couldn't help comforting Jack by stroking his bare hips as he inserted the last two. Jack laid still, asking curiously, "Please, tell me that's it. I can't take any more." Mark rose off the bed, answering honestly, "That is all of them. Now, stay here. I'll be back." Mark took his time heading for the door as Jack yelled out confused, "What? You just gonna leave me like this?" Mark stopped at the foot of the stairs, shooting back playfully. You're right. What was I thinking? You're being punished, yet you're not suffering. I can fix that. Lifting a small wireless remote, Jack pressed immediately for level 3 out of 6 levels. Even from where he stood, Mark could still hear the sound of the anal beads vibrating. Although they were drowned out quickly by Jack's loud scream of pleasure. Putting the remote back into his pocket, Mark marched up the stairs with a grin. Jack arched his back against the bed, jerking against the restraint instinctively. Mark had played him for a fool. The beads were pressed so snug against his prostate that when they began to vibrate, it sent spasms of pleasure to his every fiber of being. Being physically unable to remove the damn things meant that his only outlet was his voice, and that wasn't the worst part either. After a minute or two, the level would drop, and Jack would just start to get his voice back before the level would jump to another level randomly. Jack didn't think he could survive 4 minutes of this, let alone however long it took the food to arrive. To Jack's stunned relief, though, after a torturous 3 minutes, the vibrating stopped, giving Jack the ability to relax his limbs and vocals. It wasn't long after that Mark came marching back down the stairs. Jack's body felt so tired and stiff that feeling Mark's warm hand slide up his bare leg felt like heaven. Listening to Jack moan softly, Mark set the food down on the small wooden table as he asked, "So, what did we learn?" Jack didn't answer. Mark sat down on the edge of the bed, gently pulling the tie blindfold away from Jack's eyes, asking again. This time, Jack stared at him, replying softly, "Don't touch. I got it loud and clear." Mark smoked a little, reaching for the Oreos he had placed on top of the pizza box, saying, "Close. You can only touch me if I say so." He hoped his stash of cookies might sweeten Jack up enough before he continued. Mark removed the mega stuffed Oreo cookie from his plastic container and held it out for Jack to take from his finger. As Jack gently took it from him, Mark told him cheerfully, "Good boy, Jack. Are you thirsty?" Jack nodded, and Mark removed a bottle of Irish whiskey in a shot glass. Hesitantly, Jack asked him, "Alcohol? You can't drink it." Mark nodded, adding in, "True, but you can. Not a lot, just enough to take the edge off." Jack simply shrugged as Mark poured him a shot. To be continued.